We're rolling. Hello, viewers. First time viewers, because this is my first tutorial video. And my name is Brett. I'm 20 years old. And I love graphic design. Not only graphic design, working with Photoshop, bitmap images, but also expanding just the whole graphic visual field. Illustrator with vectors, After Effects, motion graphics. Right now I do a lot of 3D modeling with 3ds Max, and I'm just kind of talk about myself a little bit just so viewers know who I am. Provide a little skip button in case you don't want to hear it and you just want to jump in the tutorial. But as I said, I'm 20 years old. I'm in college. I'm a sophomore. Currently, my occupation, I'm a graphic design intern at SustainX, and SustainX is one of the top energy storage companies on the planet. And they're green. It's really cool. They have really cool technology, and it's a great opportunity that they've given me. And what I do there is I make 2D graphics with Photoshop when requested. Their logo I had to edit, manipulate, and now it's on their website and as a 3D sign on their headquarters. And also I do a lot of 3D modeling for them. I get sent schematics for machine parts, and I usually have a certain time period to fulfill it. And lastly, it's work from home, so I'm always here. But that's definitely a freedom that's very helpful to have. Alright, I'm just blabbering now. I don't even know what I'm talking about, so let's just get underway here. And what I'm going to be showing you today is how to make a wallpaper that looks a little bit like this. The text says, "Don't I know enough?" It's a certain song. The song is actually called "Don't I Know Enough" by I Am Oak. It's a folk song. I enjoy it though, and I get a lot of my inspiration from music. A lot of people do though. So essentially what you're looking at is 3D text in an environment, and as you can see, the 3D text is behind trees, in front of trees. It's in 3D space. Notice the sides of the letters, how you get closer to the center, they go away as if you're looking at it. It's like an actual point of view. Tree line, we have sun up in here. The forest floor is a little foggy, so we have sun rays. So I'm going to teach you how to make this in a really quick amount of time, and I might just start it all over. So first things first, we are going to want to create a new file. File new, and we'll do 1960 by 1080. That's what I usually do. Resolution 300. You want that nice crisp image, and we get something like this. So I'm just going to grab my this one from over here. Drag this in here. I'll link this image in my description so everyone can work on this. Alright, and as you can see, the difference between the two, you can probably notice the difference. Besides the placement, looks like I moved this down a little bit. actually flush with the top and flush with the right. Okay. Alright, so as I said, foggy floor, sun, text, text shadow, and you get something like this. Or there's another variation I did. Text moved a little bit, but it has almost gives it a older photograph feel, and I'll go over that real quick at the end. So tree line, and where do we start from here? Well, we are gonna want to pick out our text. You don't need to make a new layer because if you use the text tool, it automatically makes a new layer. The font I use is Bebas. Specifically though, there's different variations. Bebas Nueue, I believe that's how it's pronounced, N-E-U-E, and you can find that font free online with a simple Google search, but I'll probably just link you to the font page anyways, because I'm that nice. Alright, text, we want I don't know enough, and it's a little small, so just increase the size there. Notice how if it's too big, then the text, like some of it goes away. It's just a little lower, but you can't see it because of the box restriction. So I'm gonna hit Alt and drag out this corner. And when you hit Alt or hold Alt for usually any action, be it you're making a square or any other shape, it'll always keep the center point center. So I can resize it, but the center never moves. And I'm just going to make this a little big because I believe it needs to be bigger. Actually, I can go over into this and check out the size of it. 44.61. So let's just do that. So you can just type up here 44.61 and we'll get this, and I'm just gonna make it white. It's nice and easy to see. Something that people should get in the habit of doing is using a guideline, and you see I clicked on the ruler right here and pull the ruler out, and you'll actually see it snap into place when you get near the center, which is very cool. See, snap right there. Click. So I'm gonna let go. That creates a nice blue line, and I'm gonna do the same thing with the top, and snapped right there. Excuse me. Super Bowl today. Okay. Sorry. So I'm gonna click this text. Gonna bring it over here, and it'll essentially click into where the guidelines are, but I'm gonna put it right there, nice and centered. Now here's kind of a problem I have with the last one. The text is gonna be behind some trees, and in one situation this eye was right behind this tree, so you really couldn't even see the eye. Oh. I don't know enough. It's don't I know enough. Sorry. Simple fix. There we go. So looks like what I did is I put the tree between the T and the I. Let's do that. To keep it on the same level it's at, hold the shift tool and try not to move it that much. So I guess this is good. Right? Who am I talking to? Myself? The text honestly looks like it's a little bigger in this photograph. Why? Mysteries of Photoshop. I'm going to shrink it a little bit. 41.61 it is now. I mean, that's good. I don't want to spend all day on this one part, you know. W's behind the tree. Alright, so right here is a good spot. Notice my D just overlapping this tree, no more than halfway. This tree's between the T and the I. W's kind of behind this tree, and this tree's, you know, there. You can use any wallpaper you want, any text you want. All this is styled. It could be translated into other landscapes and fonts, etc. So we are going to start with making this text look good, and to do that, we're going to use some layer styles. So you could just double click it, bring up your layer styles, and we're going to go into gradient overlay and choose some colors for this. So what I did in my last one was I went with olive, fairly faint green. Maybe need to be a little more intense. A little less intense, sorry. Something like that. And instead of pure white, you can do just, you might barely be able to tell, but it's still good to have. Alright, so we have that, and obviously this does not look like 3D text yet. We are going to do that right now. So click this layer, hold it, drag to the new layer, and what that will do is duplicate your layers. So the bottom one, double click on effects. We are going to change its gradient. We're going to go really dark, almost black, but still in the green area, notice. And that looks interesting. We'll see how that looks. Alright, so that looks good. Notice how this layer is above it, so you can't really see it underneath. What I'm going to do is hit Control T to bring up the transform tool. Hold Shift and Alt and just barely drag it in a little to the left. You're going to want, if you're grabbing the right hand side, bring it to the left a little and click Enter to finish that. And what you just did was you took the layer underneath and you squished it a little bit. You just resized the text. And notice the effect it gives. It gives the text, 3D look to it. So it's not true 3D. If you want true 3D, I might make some tutorials about that, using something in 3ds Max and bringing it into Photoshop. But for now, this is it still looks good, at least in my opinion. And now we want to put it behind some trees. So a lot of people might not work this way, but this is what I like to. I like to keep copies of certain layers, almost like a history in here. And notice how I'll just make them hidden so you can't see them. But in case I ever need to go back and edit, I have those copies. And what I'm going to do with these is rasterize them because they're type, so you want to rasterize it first and then merge. So now we have, this is just like a solid picture almost. You erase it. Don't want to do that though. Now let's see. So this tree, and this tree. There's 3 trees that the text is behind. This is really easy. Because the trees are pretty much straight, we're just gonna use this tool, the polygon lasso tool. Click here, because that's where the edge of the tree is, and click here. And then you just wanna enclose the rest of the D that's on the tree. It makes a selection and delete it. So that text looks like it's behind the tree because you can't see it anymore. We're going to do the same thing over here with the W. Yep, okay. Delete. And you can always go back if you feel like if you still feel like a letter is overlapping a tree somehow, you might want to fix it. It can, for someone that can notice it, it just destroys the whole illusion that it creates. And you really want to make sure it's all together. And that one was an easy one. So that's that. Let's zoom out, see what we have. The text is now essentially inside the trees, but there are other ways to ensure that it's in 3D space. One of the ways is I'm going to make another copy of this layer, bring it down, hit Control T. Also, if you're on a Mac, Control would be Command. And squish this down like this. And you might be thinking, what is that guy doing? And you're gonna see. Layer style, color overlay. And we are just gonna make it black. And we're gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And we're gonna blur this thing. Probably like right there, 14.8 pixels. And notice the text is obviously unreadable now, it's just a blurry mess. And with using the opacity tool, we can kind of choose how visible it is. So, 0, it's gone. 100, it's fully there. It's still transparent, but still pretty dark. So, I want somewhere around, I like that, 80%. So now it looks like that's the shadow of the text. It's not an even shadow, which is what you want. Like if I just did a black rectangle, put a Gaussian blur on that, it would be a consistent shadow throughout the entire thing, but obviously that's not how nature works. Nature's inconsistent in its own beautiful way. So just use the text that you had and blur that, because text obviously isn't even. And also, here's another thing that one might not even think about. The shadow will be covering the trees in front of it, which we don't want because that's not how it works. So we're just going to go into our erase tool, drop the size, increase the hardness. We want it to be pretty hard. I came out wrong. And we're going to erase just like right here. I don't know if you saw it, but it does erase the shadow. So look for like this. Watch, we're going to want to erase everything that's right there. In case there was, I mean, there probably was. And this tree lastly, just around here. You can notice it. I notice it on my screen. Alright. So now the shadow is also embedded in the trees. Effects left are the sun and the fog. To do that, let's start with the fog. Now, when I made the original one, I was trying to think that it needed more, and that's when my girlfriend actually came up with some misty fog on the at the base, and I like that idea. So we are going to do that idea right now. Really easy too. Go to your filter, render, clouds, and that creates these ugly generic clouds that I never really like, but we are going to make them work. And to do that, we're going to go into here and we're going to change the layer to screen. Notice we can see our background again, and that's because screen basically makes black transparent. So the white's still visible, black is not. Now we're going to hit Control T and we're going to shrink this down. Not all the way, but probably around there. Okay? And get out your eraser tool. We want big brush. Too big. Around 500. Hardness to 0. And we're gonna slowly go down. Notice I'm just going back and forth till I feel like we are at a comfortable height. And that looks good. Because obviously the mist isn't going to rise too high, and so we don't want it all up in here in the text either. It's obviously really white, so again, go to the opacity tool and lower it down to looks like somewhere in the 60s is good, or at least 50, I think. Probably go like 52. Just gives very light, mist on the ground, which is realistic because there is humidity, on a morning in the woods. I love hiking, so doing a wallpaper on nature is just refreshing. And we're going to create the last effect, the sun, which is really easy. Now, get out your paintbrush or paint bucket tool, or you could just go to Edit Fill, but let's just do this. Get black and fill the entire thing. Why do we do that? Because for some reason we're going to be using a lens flare, and I don't normally recommend using lens flares because they're for noobs in the graphic world. But it's going to create a quick sun for us, so let's do it. And it's going to bring up this image. It's not very big, but you can see I can control where the light goes. I can also pick different types. But we are going to use this one. So just place the sun like I put it up here near the right, because that's where the tree line is. The brightness is fine at actually I would bring it up to like 113, maybe 115%, 115% I should say. And we can also kind of change that later, but alright, so if you notice I'm skipping in the video, it's because I just spent a while repositioning my light. I wanted to get it close to what I had before. Notice how high up this ray is. Can't get that though again, so it's fine. Everyone's gonna get something different. So now what we're going to do is go. I just did screen, as you saw, because we want to be able to see the sun in the background. Go to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, and bring it up to like in the 50s at least. We want it to be yellowish green. That's good right there. So lastly, I'm just going to drop the opacity a little more on the fog. Now it's in the 40s. And that's it. You are done. Congratulations. You just made 3D text wallpaper. Some other effects you can do is I'm going to take these two layers, these two text layers. Oh, sorry. Actually, they're not text layers. That's a shadow layer. So I'm just going to take text layer. You know what? I remember what we still have left to do. So add a layer above your text layer. Create a clipping mask. And go to your gradient tool. Click on the second one where it's transparent and black. And this one right here. Not the radial, but the linear one. And we're just going to click reverse. Notice what I just did. I just realistically, you can see down here, I basically almost split the whole thing black with a little gradient right there. But because it's a clipping mask, it only covers what's below it. In the sense, it's text. So I can also change the opacity if I want it darker, but just add shadow to it. And lastly, if the text is a little too crisp for you in the environment, go to Gaussian blur and bring it down to probably 0.1 or 0.2. Let's do 0.2. And you might not even notice it, but just barely blurs the sharp edges of the text because it's the text is so straight and perfect. It's almost unrealistic. So adding a little blur to it definitely helps. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have added. Nope. So you are done with your wallpaper, and I'm going to add on a couple extra things, so bear with me. We're going to, you should file and save this, and save it as the best work, the best wallpaper or something, and show your friends. Okay, to create that effect I had earlier, I'm literally going to take all my visible layers, copy them, merge them, make a folder, call it old, and I'm just going to put this in there. So what I'll be doing now is we're going to try and make this photograph look a little older, or just change the color a bit, and we're going to go into curves. Up here it says RGB, go to your red. Actually no, sorry, go to your green. The output, make the output like 13, then go to blue and make the output around 130. Yeah, let's just do 130. Now it's really blue. Obviously it's way too blue, so we're gonna go back into curves, go back into green, the input, make the green input like 20, and the blue input around 70, and then we can go to the red, maybe edit the red actually, red at 5. Okay. Can also go into levels if you want to change this. Could go either way, to be honest. Just a matter of preference. This obviously notice how like the sun increases, the overall brightness increases. Barely made any changes there, but now the image looks like it has an old filter to it, almost like a Polaroid that's been exposed to the sun or just light a lot over the years. Compared to what we have before, a really clean image, but it does add a nice little twist to it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't boring or anything. I thought I'd pick a first tutorial that is somewhat interesting and easy to create a nice effect. If you guys liked my video, please subscribe so I'll know I should keep making more. I would gladly make more. I have a lot of cool stuff I know I can make for you guys. Alright, any suggestions too? Feel free to leave a comment. So, thanks for watching.